Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. Dear colleagues, dear friends, please take your seats. We're about to start. Good morning, everyone. Please take your seats. Thank you very much. We're about to start. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear colleagues, dear friends. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to declare open the second part of the fifth session of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee to develop an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including the marine environment, and I call to order this fifth plenary meeting.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, observers, colleagues, and dear friends, I would like to begin my statement by addressing you in my mother tongue, Spanish, in order to warmly welcome you to the Palace of Nations for the resumed fifth session of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee. The Palace of Nations is a historic venue which was built to provide a home to the ideals of peace, freedom and cooperation among nations, and has witnessed key moments of multilateral diplomacy. Thus, we are in an enabling environment so that our will to work will translate into positive outcomes. Please allow me to begin by extending heartfelt thanks to those whose commitment and dedication has brought us to this critical moment. To Inga Anderson, Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, for her constant guidance and unwavering defence of environmental multilateralism. Thank you very much, Madam Executive Director. To Jyoti Mata Philip, Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee, and her outstanding team, thank you for supporting this process with professionalism, transparency and tireless dedication. Thank you so much, Jyoti. And to Katrin Schneeberger, Director of the Swiss Federal Office for the Environment, thank you for your generous welcome to Geneva, the bulwark of multilateralism and cooperation amongst peoples, and for your country's support throughout this process. I would also like to acknowledge the constant support of UNEP's staff, the INC Secretariat, and the United Nations office at Geneva. Your logistic and technical support has provided us with the necessary foundations for fruitful work. Thank you so much for that. I would also like to welcome observers participating in this meeting. I'd like to thank you for your valuable perspectives, technical skills and innovative ideas. You represent civil society, industry, science and communities throughout the world, including indigenous peoples. And it are your voices that ensure the credibility and inclusion of this process. I'd like to encourage you to continue a vital role, not only as observers, but as active participants, as your contributions will help delegations build bridges and overcome differences. And lastly, but certainly not least, given your most relevant role in this collective effort, I would like to thank the member states represented here through your delegations. This is a negotiation among states. You are at the very heart of this process. You're the ones taking the decisions. Let's not forget that. And that means, as the Latin thinker said, a huge right, but at the same time a colossal responsibility. I would like to acknowledge your original decision, because all of you adopted the initial mandate through Resolution 5/14 of the United Nations Environment Assembly, which triggered this process. We know we still have a lot of work to do, and I don't want to underestimate how complex it will be, but we have already found significant points of convergence on difficult subjects, but there are still some outstanding differences of opinion. Nevertheless, I trust that there will be enough political will to overcome them, the same will that has helped us make progress in our work and brought us to the brink of a historic moment. Please allow me now to continue my statement in English.
Dear colleagues, we have come to Geneva with a shared vision to finish the work we start together and to fulfill the mandate given to us under UNEA Resolution 514. For the first time in history, the world is within a reach of a and able to find ways to control it. Since it is a human-made crisis, it can and it must be tackled through human effort and global cooperation. We are supported by the best available science, which clearly shows that an effective international framework for cooperation and accountability, one that adopts a comprehensive approach throughout the life cycle of plastics, can significantly reduce plastic pollution and provide great benefits for both the environment and public health. You, Member States, have the mandate, information and authority to act. You understand your national priorities, your red lines and constraints. This moment demands concrete and meaningful progress. Not maximalist positions, but joint solutions. Not finger-pointing, but pragmatic engagement. This moment calls for a recognition that the common good does not conflict with national interests, but instead arises from a careful and courageous balance between them. Since the first part of these sessions ended, I have worked closely with the Bureau and the Secretariat to develop a clear, organized and tailored work plan that meets our needs at this stage. This plan aims to help you make rapid progress tone, and foundation for the final push toward achieving a successful conclusion. I urge delegations once again to approach this meeting with a spirit of collaborative engagement and increased ownership of the text. Remember, we are not just reviewing a document, we are setting the foundations for a global tool that could change the future of environmental history. And I must say, I'm confident in your constructive and intelligent contribution assignment. You are professional negotiators, experienced diplomats, and representatives of countries committed to a better future. I have full confidence in your ability to rise to this challenge. I believe in your capacity to achieve meaningful results this week and beyond, to refine the text and to find workable solutions to the most difficult remaining issues. I also want to thank and recognize the great work of our Bureau members and co-chairs of the contact groups. They have been taking on a demanding responsibility, and I trust their ability to lead productive, solution-focused discussions. I encourage delegations to support our co-chairs' efforts and empower them to help us find common ground, reach agreements, and move the process forward in good faith. Colleagues, allow me to recall a fact that I believe is clear to all of us. Time is of the essence. The world awaits substantial news from Geneva. People across continents are watching us with hope. They relied on this process to deliver not just promises but real results. Let's see August 14 not as a deadline but as a day of achievement. We need to complete a historic task by August 14 with an agreement that is effective, inclusive, implementable, and capable to evolving. I know that this won't be easy, but history is not built on comfort. It is built on courage, teamwork, and compromises. Together, we can make this meeting truly significant. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to invite the Under-Secretary General and Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, Ms. Inger Anderson, to deliver her opening remarks.
Good morning. And let me start also by thanking you, dear Chair, Ambassador Luis Valdivieso, for your extraordinary leadership. We would not be here, we would not have reached as far as we have without it. Let me also thank you, dear Catherine Schneeberger, State Secretary, for opening the doors and the warm welcome that we have received here in beautiful Geneva and in beautiful Switzerland. And of course, let me thank my dear colleague, Diotimato Philip, the Executive Secretary, who has been leading this, and of course all the many colleagues behind her. But most of all, allow me to thank you, delegates, who have worked so hard to get us to this place. Also allow me to express appreciation to observers for their engagement throughout. So together we stand here with a warm welcome to this resumed session of the negotiation of the legally binding instrument to end plastic pollution, including in the marine environment. And my deep thanks to all for all the efforts that have gotten us here. Because almost 3.5 years have passed since that historic adoption at the United Nations Environment Assembly Resolution 5.14 in 2022. And it's now high time for member states to get the deal over the line. And today this means, of course, rolling up our collective sleeves, so to speak, and getting into the contact groups. And therefore, I will be brief. You face 10 days of intensive negotiations. You know this, and you know that you will have to work with hard work and long nights and determination, as you have done in all the other sessions before. And you also know that this will require the spirit of solidarity and compromise and understanding, as you have done before. But I believe, truly believe, that you can leave Geneva with a treaty gavelled. Because since Busan, you have enabled a real surge in diplomacy. You've been engaging with one another in informal settings, in bilaterals, in regional and consultations, across the regions and across viewpoints. And that has forged approaches, ideas, and yes, solution. And that engagement has been critical to getting us where we are today, as is indeed the most intense process of preparation